All right, let's dive into the latest Global Terrorism Index. And trust me, the story it tells is probably not what you're thinking based on the headlines.
So, is the world actually getting safer from terrorism, or is the threat just changing shape? Well, this report is, let's say, complex. But it kicks off with a number that might honestly make you do a double take.
Last year, deaths from terrorism around the globe dropped by a whopping 28%. I mean, that is a huge, incredibly significant decrease. Really good news, right?
And this isn't some random blip on the radar. Nope, this is actually the lowest number of deaths we've seen in a full decade. It's part of a steady downward trend since that peak back in 2015.
So what does that actually look like? Well, we're talking about a drop from over 7,700 deaths down to around 5,500. And you have to remember, these aren't just numbers on a chart. That's thousands of real people, thousands of lives saved.
But, and this is a big but, that's not the whole story. The threat hasn't just vanished into thin air. It's shifted. It's changing. And in some places, it's actually getting much, much worse.
Okay, this chart really tells the tale. Look at this. Over the last decade, deaths in the Middle East and North Africa have just plummeted, down by 95%. But at the exact same time, sub-Saharan Africa, well, it's become the new hotspot for terrorism.
And if we zoom in even further, it gets more specific. The Sahel region, right there in Africa, now accounts for more than half of all global terrorism deaths. It's literally the new epicenter of this fight.
So, which countries are we talking about? The picture gets crystal clear here. For the first time ever, Pakistan is at the very top of the index. And right behind it, you have Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Niger, and Congo. Now get this. This is maybe the most crucial point. A staggering 70% of all deaths from terrorism are now happening in just those 5 countries. So the threat isn't spread out anymore. It's become incredibly, intensely concentrated. Okay, so we've talked about where this is happening. But the shift isn't just geographical. There's something else going on, a really worrying new trend in how extremists are even created. The report uses a phrase that really jumps out at you: dynamic TikTok radicalization. I mean, wow, it's basically saying that the super fast, algorithm-driven world of social media is turning into a brand new and scarily effective battleground for recruiting people into extremism. And look, this isn't just some wild theory. The numbers back it up. We've seen a 3x increase in young people getting involved in terror investigations across Europe and North America, and that's just since 2021. That is an incredibly alarming trend.
So this is what the report is calling the fifth wave. It's a whole new era. You know, it's not about finding some big organized group anymore. Now, radicalization is, well, it's personal. It happens through these custom-tailored online narratives, served up directly to you by an algorithm that knows exactly what you'll click on.
And this whole digital shift, it's not just about recruitment. It's also completely changing how attacks are planned and executed. The report has this great term for it, a complexity multiplier. It's a fancy way of saying technology now lets tiny groups, or even just a single person, cause a massive amount of damage with very little effort or money.
Just think about a drone attack, for example. I mean, you can buy a cheap drone online for surveillance, right? Then use a second one to carry explosives. And you can do it all from a safe distance. This stuff is so easy to get now that the barrier to entry for carrying out a pretty sophisticated attack has basically dropped to zero.
And it goes way beyond drones. We're talking about a whole new digital arsenal. You've got AI pushing out propaganda, you've got 3D printed weapons, super secure encrypted chats, even crypto for funding. It's reshaping the entire landscape of terrorism as we know it.
So when you put it all together, you're left with these two totally opposing trends, right? On one hand, you have the great news, a big global decline. But on the other hand, the really bad news is that where terrorism is still a problem, it's become way more intense, way more focused, and a whole lot more dangerous thanks to tech.
And that leaves us with one really critical question. The threat itself has obviously evolved. It's faster, it's more targeted,